Welcome to the Movement Hub podcast. I'm your host, Josh.
And I'm your host, Manny.
And we are here to give you our unsolicited and unhinged advice about everything fitness, current events, lifestyle, things that you should know about that you don't. You probably do know about it. We're going to tell it to you again.
There you go.
Yeah. So, how's your weekend?
Pretty good, man. This time I did not go to the Hyrax event that you guys hold at IPA.
What?
So
Why not?
my legs.
My yeah.
legs.
Did we talk about that? We did. We talked about the class. That was good. You had the 2-day DOMs.
More like 4-day DOMs.
It happens.
And my lungs, my heart, my ego was kind of shot, but that's how we do.
Once you're at the bottom, there's only one way to go.
How is your training going?
It's going. It's here and there. I feel like it's a slow progress, but it is progress. Any progress is good progress. I feel like peaks and valleys, but it should always come up, in a certain direction. Much like crypto.
Oh.
I know nothing about crypto.
I know it's good sometimes.
I hear it. It's on the TV. They tell me about it. But that's what we're here to talk about. Red flags in guys and what they're into. No. So we have basically we want to stay with one topic for today. And it's usually like a big thing. And you've been a personal trainer for a while now. I've been a personal trainer for a while. And there are things that we've sort of had to learn on the job and things that they don't tell you.
The unwritten rules of personal training.
Yeah, you're never gonna find this in a NASM book. Your NSCA, your ACE, they don't tell you what the industry is. They don't tell you the types of people you're gonna encounter. Now, there's some things about psychology and how to handle this type of client here and there, but if you're not out there in the trenches, you're really not going to encounter certain types of people, personalities. And over that time, we're here to discuss certain things that we wish, I'm going to speak from my perspective, some things that I wish I could have done, and some boundaries that I wish I set. Some that I'm setting currently. I'm still learning in this field. There's every day is a chance for me to learn the more people I encounter. And setting boundaries was not natural for me. As a child of immigrant parents and an only child, I never knew that I could say no, that I could
Take boundaries.
Yeah, just pretty much like, hey, this is the way it's going to be, or else. Yeah.
So would you say that you used to always comply to whatever things were at the moment in time?
Absolutely. I feel like that I usually bend over backwards for some people. And for example, like some people would no-show. And that's very common. You'll get this very early in your personal trainer journey, is that some people will just not show up to your session. Now, I'm asking you, what is the standard operating procedure of a last-minute cancellation?
So I think that there should be guidelines and boundaries that are set in the beginning. I guess that there should be an understanding from both parties that you scheduled this time for training, whether it's whatever time it is in the day, there is a certain period that you have to come to agreement to with your client about when you reach this specific time or this specific time has already passed, this is now counted as a session that is going to be charged regardless if you show up or not, unless you have different considerations or different agreements with that particular person. So the common practice, I believe, with most of the gyms, and the one that I practice right now, is a 24-hour period of late cancellation, right? So once you hit that 24-hour mark, it's already considered a late cancellation. Why? Because I think a lot of people need to understand as personal trainers that we always cater to a lot of different people, and we create this schedule that again, you're managing anywhere from 10 to 15 to 20 different people. And the time that you set aside has to be dedicated for that particular person. Now, if you just no show and you think that you can get a different time out of the day, especially from a busy trainer, that's going to be quite hard of a demand because it's already set in stone what you'll be doing that day. So I guess that was a long-winded answer, but the short-winded answer is that there should be an agreement with X amount of time that you have to let me know by, or else you will be charged.
But Manny, I have my kid just threw up on my car.
Oh.
Inside my car.
Oh.
It's not leather either. And I have to take him to the doctors because they're sick. Also, I got hit by a bus.
And you're texting me right now.
I'm telling you right now, I'm on the way to the ER.
Oh, shit.
It's 45 minutes left to our session. I don't think I can make it. Can you hey, do you understand how hard this is for me?
It depends. I guess it depends.
The it depends answer.
That's
how you know you're wise.
It depends.
By answering the it depends.
It depends. Why? Because if this is a person that's quite reliable, quite steady with everything that he says and is trustworthy, then it's probably going to be, a slide for me. Meaning, I'll let you slide this time. You have your car, you have to clean it. You don't want all that mess to be in it. You got hit by a bus. Okay, let's take out the hit by a bus part. Because if somebody got hit by a bus, that is automatically in my head saying, I'm not going to see you for the next 3 months.
I've had cancellations. Real talk. I could count on 2 separate occasions that I got people hit by cars.
Okay.
I was like, that's a good one.
Yeah, but
What do you want me to do? I'm like,
can you show me how much damage is there on the car?
What are you gonna do? Not believe him? Show me a picture?
Right. So I guess for me, it really depends on who is the person that is coming up with these different kind of reasons why they can't show up, right? So if you have a client that's pretty inconsistent and has a track record of bullshitting you and creating all these different kind of lies or different kind of stories for them to not be charged, then maybe there has to be a discussion next time that you meet, or you straight up don't believe them and there's a trust that is broken and maybe that relationship needs to end, or you always give people the benefit of the doubt and say oh, I'm so sorry you got hit by a bus and don't worry, we will just let this one slide and I'll see you next time when you feel better from being hit by a bus.
Yeah, no, it's nothing new. Anyone in any field, a doctor, a lawyer, a therapist, there's last minute cancellations anyways. And usually people are understanding. Mm-hmm. So that's the first thing that comes into my mind when it comes to creating boundaries as a personal trainer.
A level of accountability.
Right. Mm-hmm. Are there other boundaries that you feel that you need to set? You said that you set it prior to starting. Are there other boundaries that you would like to let your client know before you start this relationship? And that's practically what this is. It is a relationship. It is a service that you are agreeing to do based off of your expertise. What are the boundaries, or what boundary that can you say that you want to set for this person?
I guess, let me take a step back here. I think one of the biggest mistakes that I've had in my personal training career is setting those boundaries from the get-go. I think in the beginning...
You think it's a mistake?
I think it's a mistake.
Okay.
Because once you do not set boundaries or set up these rules and regulations and this idea of what the training experience is going to be like and what the expectations are going to be, then I think that as you move through the months, the years, or even days that you're working with somebody, it kind of creates its own rule. Without things being said, there are these different kind of rules that you come up in your head that this is just the way that it's going to go. Example, if the expectation is that, we schedule an appointment at 3 p.m. and our session ends at 3:45 or 4 p.m., and you don't say that that's the time that you're going to be serviced for, let's say the next time, like say a week from now, somebody's late and they expect you to move your time to 3:30 to 4:30 without telling them like, hey, this is the time that I'm going to allocate for you, then I think that people are going to take advantage of that and are going to constantly be like, you said that it's an hour of training, but you didn't say that I'm not allowed to change my time during that day or the day before or anything like that. So I think that's one thing that I have a mistake of, is not creating these boundaries and not setting rules for us to follow in order to make the relationship work, which I needed to do a lot of, adjustments during that period of training somebody rather than telling them from the get-go. So that's my mistake.
I do feel that boundaries I don't set boundaries from the get-go. I sort of like have expectations.
Mm-hmm.
And if things are not met early on, then we're going to have to discuss them. Like if you're someone who constantly, hey, can we push this to the next day? If you're this kind of person who's like, all right, I did that for you in the beginning, but now we got to like cut this out. We agreed to a time and I want you to hold to that time. There are boundaries where in the training session, I wouldn't want them to dictate where the training is going to go. If you are a surgeon, you wouldn't be on the operating table and be like, no, doc, I want you to move this scalpel this way, and I need you to move my pancreas that way, and that would be much better for me. Never heard of. I think a trainer should be treated with that same sort of respect. I feel like they should have some anesthesia, and then just knock out and then just let the trainer do his job.
So you're telling me that you're training somebody limp, who's not unresponsive. Got it. But wait,
in a metaphorical way, you know?
I kind of disagree with you on this.
Okay.
Because you're dealing with these very emotional creatures who are still learning their body. And wait, let me finish. Let me finish. It's like saying, all right, squat ass to grass. But I can't squat ass to grass. Do it. My knees fucking hurt. Don't be a pussy. Just do it.
God, these trainers do exist.
They
also
do exist. So I think that there's this line that sometimes people need to not step over. Also, people need to step behind, because I think that majority of the time it's as you learn the story about somebody and what are their fears, what do they enjoy, what they're able to do, what they're capable of, what they're not. I think that when you're in the relationship with a client, is you further understand what they can do, what they tell you that they can't do, and when you know that they are just complaining about things and you know for a fact that they can't do it.
It's just a complaint. It's not really a limitation.
So like mental and physical limitations aside.
So I think where you're coming from, Josh, is that you wouldn't allow a client to say, no, this is the better exercise to do. This is what we're doing today. I think that there should be, with personal trainer, they're the ones who set up the day, set up the exercises, and there's modifications that can be requested by the client.
Let me clarify where I stand. I do feel in the beginning there is a little bit of a grace period where you sort of learn from each other.
Right.
Okay. And any trainer worth their salt would have some sort of assessment to find out where their movement ranges are, where their limitations are, what their injury history was, and find things that are uncomfortable. That sort of goes without saying for any trainer that's worth their worth. I'm saying for people, the clients who want to dictate, oh my God, this is too hard. We did deadlifts on Sunday. Why are we doing deadlifts again on Thursday? Can we do something else, Manny? You wrote down that you were supposed to do deadlifts Sunday and you're doing deadlifts Thursday. But I, the client, have said, we did this already. Why do we have to do it again?
Okay. In that example, I think that would
Can you
be...
show me something else? I saw this thing on Instagram.
Oh, hell no. That's when I like, no, that's not how we're doing it. But I'll use the same scenario, but a little twist. If they said, why are we doing deadlifts today? My back is sore. My knees are a little cranky. Can we do it another day? Can we make adjustments? I think that's where my camp comes in and say, all right, let's do something similar that probably doesn't hurt your knee. Maybe a split squat that the knees don't go above the toes so that it's a little bit less on the knees and more on the quads, on the glutes. So I think for me, I'm a little bit more forgiving with people who tell me like, I don't want to do this today, because if they're already in the mindset of not wanting to do something, I'm not going to get anything productive out of them. So I just modify things to make it look different, but actually gets me the same goal.
I'm going to tell you that I do exactly what you do. I sort of like, one, roll my eyes.
Oh, I do it. I do it right in front of them.
You know.
Externally? Like,
No, I'll do it right in front of them.
I
Sometimes I'll say to them, God damn it. And then I would like come up with something else.
Wow, you really do that?
Sometimes I'm like, no, I say these. Look, Manny, we are Metro New York City trainers. Okay, we have clients that have
in Jersey City
and Jersey City and Hoboken, and we have affluent clients, people who have like, they're up there. They're A types. Usually, and correct me if I'm wrong, you'll have people who are very much control freaks.
Absolutely.
They want to control the scenario. They want to control their rest period. Like, let's say, look, I got 5 rounds with a 40-second rest. And 3 minutes passed by. And I'm like, well, your timer was up. What do you want me to tell you? Like,
you just let it run, boy.
I say, like, look, you're going to have to answer to the call. It's a 40-second rest. You're going to have to answer to the call. And that thing beeps. I am not turning that beeper off. I want you to know that it's still going. You were supposed to go. And because I know this person, let's say I developed this relationship with this person for more than a year, I know what their capabilities of. I know when they're being a baby. And look, every trainer, let me unveil what it's like behind the curtain. Every trainer has crybabies for clients.
not all, but some.
I would say most.
I'm sure there are exceptions.
I would say most.
I'm telling you.
Than less.
Look. Okay.
More than less.
Every parent has a favorite child. Don't say otherwise. Everybody has a favorite child.
Said from an only child.
Said from an only child. And it's me. Okay?
By default.
Unless you're the only child, there is no favorite child.
But I will say, trainers have better clients. They're like, we're going to go after this. This client is a gamer. They're a good soldier. I say jump, they ask how high. And they're game for it. They see me as a challenge. And I'm like, what we got? Fully locked in, trust you. They trust the process. And they're willing, like, hey, I'm willing to do whatever it is, coach. Yeah, we're doing deadlifts Sundays. We're doing deadlifts again. I'll do deadlifts tomorrow. I'm going to run through this brick wall for you. Those are my favorite types of clients. You're never going to find that. That is the 1%. You know, I've encountered those. I love those people, both male and female. So this is not like a whatever. I've had clients that are just willing, good soldiers, willing to say whatever I hand out or what I write down. I wrote it down and I put some thought into it because of my years of education and experience and all these seminars I've flown to and traveled to. And you spent your time going to learn how to train people. And they respect that. And I will give that respect back by putting you in that position. So That's it. Where was I? Where am I?
Respect the 1%ers.
Yeah.
I think, and I think the issue, I think there's one roadblock that I always run into when it comes to the 1%ers is that they don't really know on how to put their foot on the brake pedal because they're always on gas.
You're not wrong, and that's where you sort of like have to like deload them a little bit. You have to reel them back.
There's no such thing as deload.
There's look,
Reel it in, reel it
training is more art than it is science, and there are ways, and you have to be a little sneaky about it.
Yes, I agree.
Jedi mind tricks.
So I think with the issue that I run into with my 1%er is saying that, you know, one thing that I love about this guy that I train is that whatever you say, I do. I'm like, all right, what if I said, put your phone down and don't look at it for an hour? Never mind. Anything you say, I will probably do.
Training should go the way of comedy clubs where they take your phone right in the beginning and then just like zip it up and you don't touch your phone after. Oh no, I have a call. Well, tough balls. We have an agreed hour. You should respect my time as I respect your time. I'm trying to get you out of here. You came in a little early. Awesome. We're going to foam roll. We're going to stretch. And then we're going to do our training in that time. I promise to get you out in that hour.
But what if I pay you top dollar and I have an important call that can come out at any time?
Well, this is the thing about boundaries. Like, I'm telling you right now, it might not be worth the money, you know? And that's where boundaries come in. And a young Josh would pick up any client. He's hungry, 5 a.m, 8 p.m, you know? I'll take it. I'll pick it up. And I'm like, oh, okay, you can't do this? All right, cool. We'll do something else. I gotta take this phone call. Okay, all right, I'll come back. And then whatever that time that was lost, we're 12 minutes over because I feel like he needs to have that hour back. Mistakes.
You minus that 12 minutes.
These are mistakes. One,
mistakes gotta go.
I gotta tell you, man, I'm a really nice guy. I'm a really nice, genuine, authentic, very kind person. You know, I love puppies.
I believe it.
I pay my taxes. I take out the trash. You know,
Law-abiding citizen.
I'm a law-abiding citizen.
That's what the nice people always say.
Yeah. So is Ted Bundy. But
yeah, so we're like half the people on the most wanted list. I'm really a nice guy.
Yeah. So I did a lot of these things, and I think it did me a disservice where I sort of like I bend myself backwards too much, and I went over the hill for these people who weren't willing to give it back. And I feel that client-trainer relationship needs to be symbiotic and needs to come from a place of respect. Like, you know, that's it. That's all I want to say, and that's part of the growth.
I think that's where it all stems from, is having mutual respect for each other. And now that we're on that topic, do you think are different scenarios where you have felt disrespected by a client, or you disrespected a client by doing some of these mistakes in previous years of training?
I would say that I feel like, I'll give you an instance. People that know me know I'm not a cheerleader. I'm not this rah, let's go. Come on, guys. You can do it. I'm not, yes, queen. You know, I'm not that type of guy. I'm like, I wrote something down and you're going to do it. Okay. And it's either you do or you don't, and we'll modify however it is. But you're like, Josh, why don't you like just be more cheering? Why like, I just want to feel the motivation. I want to feel uplifted. And this is where I sort of put my foot down and I've said, I apologize that if you feel that you have this expectation of me, but I am not that person. And I have said there are other great trainers that can do that for you.
Wow. Pretty much asked them to walk away if they want.
I didn't ask them to do anything. I was like, if you want this, like if you want me, you're going to have me for me. You're going to have Josh the trainer, not Josh the cheerleader. And all of a sudden, I'm giving you a Tony Robbins speech. No, they're like, oh, can you like, hey, research some stretches? I feel like this is what somebody told me. As a trainer, you should know about stretching and mobility. Can you like look up some stuff? Can we do more stretching and mobility? I felt that was very disrespectful. And I really had it with this person where I was going back and forth. And I'm like, yeah, no, I give you the things that you need, not the things that you think you need. Because the things that you need is, one, it's wrong. And two, I'm the surgeon. You're on the table. Like, let me do the scalpel thing.
Okay. You good?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm
okay.
fine.
I saw you getting a little heated over there.
Yeah.
So. All right. Okay. So I think for me, I think the one thing I really run into now is a lot of people showing up late to their training sessions. And I would say with my squad right now, I think I'm not trying to let anybody catch any
I hope
strays,
they see
but
this.
Somebody's catching strays. You know, if
Someone's going to feel personally attacked.
you know who you are. Bato salang and mataman
And
magalit,
if they were
you know?
really part of your squad, they would be watching right now.
There you go.
Hey guys,
you know
it's
who
about
you are.
accountability.
Yeah, accountability, and I love you guys, and I want to make sure that you're there for the full time to get all the gains on that table. But
Get some sleep, no drinking.
that's a tough one. But for me, it's majority of the people who are consistently late stay consistently late, and sometimes even push it even further of being late. So that I think with that, I've learned on how to accept it at a certain point for me, because one, I always have my book on me, and if they're pulling up to the session 15, 20 minutes late, one, I send them an emoji, which is the eye emoji, the side-looking eye emoji, like where you at? And then two, I just start reading my book. But for me, it's because it's just the nature of the job for them. It's that they're probably on a call, or sometimes they're just probably just sitting on their desk and still working on something and they totally forgot it. And that's my mistake, is not being more stern about, hey, you should be here at this time. But for some people, really, is I just really can't make it, and I'm sorry that I can't make it on time. It's a take it or leave it situation for me. And for me, I've said this on this podcast before, that I think my superpower is providing space for people, at least with this squad. Like, I really have a really good relationship with my squad right now. And majority of the times, they do have a legitimate reason of why they're late. And I believe you guys, because I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt every single day. But the ones who do show up late for the sake of showing up late, you know who you are, and you should be better. Show up on time. Let's make those games.
Nah, the people who are late will always be late. They'll be late to their own funeral. They're driving the wrong side of the roads. They're wearing mismatching socks. Everything's just going haywire. Their life is in shambles.
You know what I think, though? The bigger question here is, what do they truly want out of it? And is it really on top of their priority list? And I believe that majority of the people who are hiring these personal trainers, they don't have fitness at the highest priority.
They don't.
Because they would already be doing this on themselves, because they would be doing all the research, the practice. They would be getting all those training from that personal trainer in a short period amount of time, and then trying to figure it on themselves. But because it's not a high priority on their list, they are just hiring a personal trainer. Tell me what to do. I'll do whatever you say. Make me these gains. I'll see you another day. So I think for me, it's a really touchy subject. I know that we can sit here all day and say, hey, get here on time. This is what time you said that you were going to show up. This is how much you're paying me for this time. And whatever time that we say that we're going to end, that's where we're going to end. But I think in this real world, especially living out here in the Northeast, I think that majority of that is quite hard to live up to. And at least for me, it's something that I've learned to live with. That is a disservice to me.
I respect that that's what you've chosen to accept. This is your world. This is how you conduct your business. I feel that 2024, Josh, I treat this like we have an agreed time, and sort of like a therapist's office. Once that clock is up, sorry, that's our time.
Yep.
Thank you.
That's what I do.
So if you showed up 17 minutes late, we're finishing on time. Exactly. Says 5 o'clock, it's 5 o'clock. Sorry. They're like, oh, that's it? I'm like, yeah, you're 17 minutes late.
I was here the time that you were supposed to be here. So
Yeah. No, I was here early. Like, if I'm late, I will own up to it, and then I'll give you the full time that's allotted. Even if it's 1 or 2 minutes late, I will give you the time that you're allotted. But if I'm here and you're habitually line stepping,
Habitual line crossing.
yeah, then no. Look, you want to be on the cover of Men's Health, but you don't need to be in the covers of Men's Health. How bad do you want this?
So you're not cheerleader, Josh.
I'm not a cheerleader.
You're coach, Josh.
Are you the same?
I'm an Asian parent is what I am.
Oh.
Okay, are you like also a non-cheerleader outside of the gym? Like outside the training room, are you also not a cheerleader? Is this Josh outside, ironbound, or personal training, small group class? Are you the same person?
It depends. No. No. I'll tell you what it is. You know what? I'm a person that gives someone a straight answer. I'm going to give a straight answer. Like, oh, how many pull-ups do I need to do? 10. Straight answer. 10.
But I can only do 7.
No, 10. Well, get to 10. You're 3 more away. All right.
So are you the same Josh outside of the gym?
I am the same person. How you do anything is how you do everything. And it's sort of like, hey, could be because I'm an only child. It could be because I'm a child of immigrant parents. Cold. I sort of like, and it's unfair. I will admit that. And that's part of my healing that I need to get over it, is that I do have expectations. I do have expectations for myself. Sometimes we are our own harshest critic. I do have things when it comes to personal relationships, other people. And it's sort of like you sort of have to prove to me that you're able to do this task, that I can trust you. Or I know what you are, and you sort of have to prove me wrong. And I'm not saying that's right. I'm not saying that's wrong. It just is.
For you.
For me. This is my world. Nobody has to live in it. But that's the thing. That's my trauma, and that's the thing I'm trying to fight. But I don't think it's necessarily bad. I don't think it's evil. I think it's just like I have expectations for my athletes at my gym. I have expectations. I expected more from you. I know what you're capable of. So I know where to push. I know where to push buttons a little bit.
And outside the gym, what is Josh?
I'm chill. I'm trying to watch this.
I'm
chill.
From this episode,
I'm just
chill guy Josh over here.
Guys, I'm the chillest person you're gonna have. We're gonna watch the Knicks. We're gonna relax. We're gonna have a nice non-alcoholic beer. And then we're just going to have some fun. That's it. I'm here for a good time, not a long time.
Yeah, the vibes.
Here for the vibes.
There you go.
How's Manny outside the gym?
Who? It depends. That's definitely for me.
I think he's too wise. That's what it is.
I think for me, I'm more of a chameleon. I like to adapt to my different kind of environments and try to be the best color for the situation at hand. I think if I was the exact same Manny in every single situation, I think that there would be a lot of different avenues that I would be going through rather than the avenues that I want that to be. I think one thing that I've really learned on how not to be is a pushover. I think growing up as the youngest of 4, so quite opposite of you.
But as a favorite of all of them.
Yeah, there you go. Favorite of all of them, that's for sure. In my situation, that I think that learning on how to adapt to different situations is a little bit easier for me than being very stern and telling people it's this way or the highway. For me, what it works for me.
I think it's also cultural. We're Filipino, like you grow up in this tradition of po, like you are in the eyes of someone else, sort of serving and being up to their expectations and being respectful.
Right. But different strokes for different folks in the personal training area. Sometimes I believe that there is no one best strategy. It's just the best strategy that works for you.
They don't talk about this when you're like studying for the NASM.
No, absolutely not.
Because it's always one way. There's the guidelines are for how you are as a trainer towards your clients and not the other way around. So I think this is great that you guys are sort of taking back a wall to see what it is on the other side.
Right. I think that there's different kinds of progressions that branch out in so many different directions when it comes to dealing with people that there is no one way fits all, right? There's no one size that fits all. No. And I think in this specific profession that we do in personal training, it's very much so. I believe for the way that it's worked for me over the years is being that chameleon, being the person who can adapt. But I also believe that even though you are constantly adapting to different environments and, in some way, shape, or form, people pleasing, you also have to stay true to who you are and be stern because that's what has got you there. So, yeah, I think that we're very different in those different type of ways. But I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
No, I think we are who we are. And even in a profession it seems very straightforward. And when you look into it, it's very complex, and the ways to handle it is unique to each trainer, to each coach. You have to wear different hats. And it's crazy because we read a textbook and we get tested on it, and automatically we become a trainer.
Boom. I think that's a good point that you said is about having different hats. Because if you have 8 to 10 to 11 different clients in one day, you are 8 to 10 to 11 different Joshes every single hour. Even though at the core you're the same, you do have to be somewhat a little different for everybody. Yeah. The person that you talk really stern to and call names at 7 a.m. is probably not going to respond the exact same way as their next client.
I'm going to have to agree with you, but I try to be the same the whole way. I'm like, what you see is what you get. You're going to get this, is what it is. Meet the expectations, answer to the call. Be on time,
If there's one last thing you want to say to your current / future clients talking about boundaries, what would that be?
I have nothing to say to any clients because they're whatever.
Wow, everyone got the smoke now.
I think this is more. You can't control the variables of different clienteles because whatever you establish now, if you're getting new people, you're going to have to establish this with them later on. So the only people I can sort of speak to are the trainers and coaches listening, or people that are trying to pursue this industry or in any industry that might relate. And it's that it's okay to develop boundaries. It's very crucial that you stay communicative with your clientele. Understand where their buttons are, know where their triggers can be. Communication is everything in this industry and in all industries, to be honest, unless you're an actuary or you work in the morgue. But you have to learn how to communicate and how to communicate with different people. It's the key to all relationships. And the better you get at it, the better your business is going to be. And it's a skill like anything else, just like building muscle, just like learning the textbook. So that's my thoughts. I'm glad. This was very therapeutic for me. This was very good to purge it out. How do you guys feel?
I'll go first, and then I would love to hear producer / psychologist Haley. But for me, I think I love what you said there about not having a message for present / future clients, because I think that the better message here is what you would want to tell people who are coming into the industry or who have been in this industry that doesn't have the same experience as you. And for me, I think I can think of one word, and it's malleability. Being able to adapt, to change, to become a different kind of form for the person that's in front of you, but with context of staying true to yourself, which is something that I probably learned a lot from you today and hitting home runs on with. So being malleable, but at the core being rock solid. Producer Haley, what about you? Since you are in this type of line of work, not personal training, but dealing with clients and different personalities day in, day out.
I think it's different for me because different in a sense that when you're dealing with anything physical, limitations aside are one thing to address, and then you have to deal with the mental. On my end, it is just the mental part. So navigating through limitations on that, kind of knowing what those, like I guess landmines are. Like if you're not aware what's going on, and then there's certain topics or things that you're just like, oh, okay, you kind of know how to deal with it, or if they're aware enough and they can communicate with you. But you guys have a different job where you have to juggle both because you're dealing with, motivation. You're dealing with a lot of the mental aspect of trying to reach your client to go beyond themselves, push, but also tethering the lines of like their physical limitations. So I will say that you guys have a trickier situation because like it's either way, you don't want them to get hurt, but you also want to help them get through it mentally. On my end, it's just, it's complex in a different way, but you guys also are complex in your own way. I will say that.
Cool. Awesome.
So respect to you guys. I don't think people give you guys enough credit on that.
This is very validating to me because it's like, hey, nobody sees how hard, and I'm not like asking for sympathy, but what we do is quite challenging.
It's more of an awareness. It's not a sympathy. It's awareness.
Yeah. Yeah, I do believe that not a lot of trainers get enough credit for doing what they do, because I think from the outside world, a lot of people think that your job is to point at things, tell them to pick it up,
Count reps.
put it down, and count reps that you normally count wrong anyway. Yeah. So basically, you're not
One,
doing
I don't
your job
count.
right.
That's my boundary. I was like, and people told me, you're not going to count?
It's like, what rep am I in?
And I said,
yes.
I don't know.
I feel like, make up a number.
I was like, are you supposed to count? And I'm like, I don't have to.
Shit, I count all the time, but it's always wrong. So I think people just gave up on me.
Yeah.
In terms of trusting me of where my count is.
Just say that you can't be trusted.
Oh, there you go.
There you go, guys.
How you lose
And that's the lesson for today.
Josh can't be trusted.
Josh can't be trusted.
You shouldn't trust me to begin with.
And thank you for listening to this episode, guys. We will see you on the next one. There you go.
Nice.